I already started recording audio, bro. I'm like here.
Fine.
Here.
I am recording. You are recording. I am
We are
recording. You are recording.
We are recording.
Recording.
Recording. We are
Recording.
recording. We are recording.
Ing. So what's going on, dude?
Oh, hello. We're here.
We are. What's going on your end? What's going on your bell end, if you know what I mean?
Pain, misery, suffering, all of the above.
Do you know what? Do you know what the bell end is? That's what British people call like the tip of your dick.
No, I know.
So pain, misery, suffering. You're still gonna stick with that?
That was a cock and ball torture joke, and you ruined it.
Hey, dude, cock and ball torture is no joke. That's that good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working through the pandemic, and it's been terrible. And
yes, it has.
It's been fucking miserable. So I'm glad to have a day off.
Yeah.
Nice. Outside of work, I've been doing a lot of commiserating with others about how miserable things are.
Yeah. Wait, have you been waiting, commiserating?
Yeah. She left me roses by the stairs.
Surprises let me know she cares.
Exactly. Yeah. Work sucks.
I guess so. I know.
Yeah. I've been up to a few interesting things, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned last time that I was making candles, so I did a bit of that. Mm-hmm. That was interesting.
Anything else cool, interesting?
You think is Ted Cruz's name short for Ted, Theodore Cruz or Tedrick Cruz?
No. So it's something totally different. It's like his Cuban name. One sec.
He's got a weird name.
No, he definitely has. That's not his name at all. It's Raphael Edward Cruz is his full name. So Ted makes sense there.
It makes so much sense.
Raphael. You got the fucking name of a goddamn Ninja Turtle, and he fucking just throws that right in the gutter.
Yeah, why would you throw that away? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's if I was named Leonardo or Machiavelli or whatever the fuck the other ones are named, it would be dope.
Machiavelli, you think that's one of the fucking Ninja Turtles? you just pull...
Right? I mean,
pulling out
the Merovingian, that's one of them
Nietzsche?
too, right?
Was it Nietzsche? Nietzsche? Is that how you pronounce it? Wasn't he one of the turtles?
Aristotle or whatever.
Fucking Karl Marx? Was he one of the Ninja Turtles?
The Pizza Manifesto. I have read that. It's pretty good.
It is, yeah. I think it's that I say Cowabunga. You have nothing to lose but your Cowabunga.
Do we really stand that to lose, though, if we're being honest? Couldn't
That's
we
true.
Just potentially gain more Cowabunga for all?
That's true. That's, the promise of communism is really, state-run and administered Cowabunga. In the transitional period of socialism, you have, socially owned Cowabunga. So you have, kind of large... unions,
sure,
dispensing of Cowabunga in perhaps barter systems to figure out who needs the most Cowabunga where.
Exactly.
In a nationalized Cowabunga system, there's actually a lot to be said for it. Especially with the supply chains that we have now, we could nationalize Cowabunga so easily.
More Cowabunga for all.
Bernie talks about this a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about a lot of different things lately. You know how there's shows or music or just entertainment of some kind where there's stuff that you are oh, I definitely need to check this out, and you do, and then there's stuff where it's it would be cool to check this out. I want to check this out, but you never do because it's never important enough.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Babylon 5.
Oh, that's exactly how I feel about Babylon 5. And I've watched all of those other shows. Like, literally all of them except Babylon 5.
I haven't watched Farscape either,
good.
and I really need to watch Farscape.
Farscape's so good. And, you should really watch SG-1.
Yeah, no, I've heard SG-1's really good, too.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Dude, if you want to do a rewatch with me, I will watch it.
Do an SG-1?
Yeah. Anyways. So for media like that, like there's always like a billion things on that list for me. One of the things though that's been coming up recently that I've been thinking about a lot is obviously Robert Zombie, always in my mind.
Bob Zombie.
Always in the back of my Dragu-mind.
It slams in the back of your Dragu-mind.
Exactly. So recently I've been waking up, and early on in the day, I've been like, I should listen to some Rob Zombie today. That'd be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And I never fucking do, like ever. Like I never do. And it's fine.
Music.
It's never really that disappointing to me that I don't do that. But
mm-hmm.
I keep having these moments where I'm like, yeah, I should do that, and I don't. And I'm okay with either outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Got any cool stories about like rock stars putting their cocks in burritos? That was fun last time.
Oh God, that's such a good thing to think about. I think about that every time I listen to Motley Crue. So, okay, here's some other stuff I've been thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I thought about the syphilitic rock star dicks in burritos a lot this past week.
Yeah,
and part of that was brought up because I was watching a playthrough of a video game on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you may be familiar with this game. You may not be. This is a game from 2002.
Okay.
It was released for the PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, and original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Bmx Triple X.
I do recall it vaguely, yeah.
Tell me what you remember about Bmx Triple X.
If I recall, it had like a pretty new metal soundtrack, didn't it? Was that one?
There's some new metal on there, but it's not entirely new metal, no. It has a pretty good soundtrack, actually.
God, I feel like I watched like Angry Video Game Nerd or somebody do that one.
So, Bmx Triple X is made by the same team that made the Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX games. Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
And so this is like the third game in that series. But what happened was, long story short, Dave Mirra dropped out, and so they had a bike game, but with nobody to be the front person for the bike game. So they decided to add boobs. So it features,
sick,
at least in the Nintendo GameCube version, which is the dirtiest, filthiest version of that game, believe it or not. All the versions are different, but the GameCube version is the one with the tits.
Mm-hmm.
It has the just exposed tits, it's pretty cool. Even the PS2 version censored tits. Hate to see that. But yeah, GameCube version, tits. Anyways, it's a terrible game.
Mm-hmm.
Is not good. Is not fun to play. But it has a pretty good soundtrack, and there are boobs. And I've been thinking about this game a lot because I was watching somebody do a playthrough of this game, and one of the songs on the soundtrack is, of course, Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue, which you can't listen to that song and not think about, their dicks entering burritos.
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually went on a deeper dive into that and actually looked into the full story.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was actually Vince Neil who told the story, and he actually said specifically that they used to get breakfast burritos.
Oh no! Oh no! That's so much worse.
And I was like, it added a whole new dimension to the story.
I know. That's like it just implies that it was like in the morning.
Exactly, right? I'm like, because he was talking stuff like, we did it a lot in the back of a van, like, it'd be before load-in or something like that. I'm like, why are you getting a breakfast? Who's got load-in at like 8 a.m.? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's good. And like, aren't breakfast burritos frequently spicy? Like, that seems like something that would be very risky to like insert your.
It's just like why that? And I'm like, I don't know. But then they'd like tell their girlfriends that they just like dropped the burrito in their lap, and like I'm wondering how many times they actually used that excuse, because it made it sound like he made it sound like they did this frequently, and I'm like,
yeah.
How many times are they actually gonna be like, why does he keep dropping a breakfast burrito in his lap? Like, you figure after so many times he'd just eat it standing up, or
like in the shower.
Yeah, get a napkin. Yeah, shower burrito. Like, we're going to keep revisiting this conversation, because
I love that
this is a piece of minutia that I just hate so much that we got to talk about it again.
Okay. So on that same track, what's the coolest thing you've ever eaten in the shower?
Good question.
Or most coolest or most unusual thing you've ever eaten in the shower?
You know, I'm not a big shower eater. I actually don't think I have a good answer for this. I drank a lot of stuff in the shower, but...
Cool. Like what?
I don't know. Like, I'll have a shower beer pretty often, or, you know, just a beverage there in the shower, so I can take like a nice 20-minute shower and have like a nice Diet Mountain Dew.
Do they still make that weird goth Diet Mountain Dew that you were obsessed with?
So they do. And they made like every variety in cans for like a week, but then because of COVID they just stopped production.
Oh yeah, because of COVID.
Yeah, apparently, because I actually called into Swartz and Coke to try to find if there was anywhere in the city where they actually made it, and I found the guy who could tell me the info, and he's like, oh no, they made that for like 2 weeks, but then like because of COVID they like totally switched their production back to just the main line until like further notice, and I'm like, fuck,
hate to see it.
Just the main line, brother. And so I'm not sure if you've noticed, but like in grocery stores, like the variety of like mainline Coke and Pepsi has kind of gone down recently.
No, I don't buy those products, so I've definitely not noticed.
Well, look who's a cocksucker.
No, you? like, what am I supposed to say there?
I'm just saying. Look.
Cool. Hey, I'm Spenser.
And I'm Britt.
Since 2011, Buckethead has released 284 albums in his Pikes series. And we're going to listen to them 3
at a time.
This is Getting Head, a Bucketcast.
Welcome, bot slogs, friends, and bucketheads. This is episode 12 of Getting Head, a Bucketcast.
Is it really only 12? It feels like so much more of my life.
It does. It feels like we should be like on Pike 100 at this point, but alas, we're in the mid-30s. And guess what? We're in the mid... No, actually, we're early 30s really, still. Like,
still early. Yeah, early 30s.
I'm getting to mid-30s. I'm almost there. Almost there. I'm beating you. Yeah, I'm beating you. I'm beating you. I'm going to beat you. Beat you to death.
Cool.
By that, I mean I'm going to die first.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, you're like vegan and like not like constantly smoking and drinking, so...
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, you get, in the words of Depeche Mode, you have to make this life livable.
That's true.
And in today's day and age, that is hard because life is killing me.
Life is a fucking bitch and a half. Bitch and 3/4 at this point, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
we have definitely...
I was thinking about Borders books the other day. You remember Borders books?
Yeah, Borders books. That was, kind of a contemporary of, like, Barnes & Noble. I didn't like how they were, like, set up as much, though, at least in our hometown.
I liked it. I liked this is what I liked about Borders, right? Borders, just, they had very tall shelves. And all the shelves were always full of books.
It had more of a library feel than, like, Barnes & Noble does. Oh.
Yeah. It felt very dense, whereas Barnes & Noble felt, like, very sparse and spread out.
Right.
Admittedly, it was an enormous building. Like, how the fuck? That place is still open in Alaska, like, of all places. Like, okay.
People read there. I don't know.
I enjoyed going there. Like, I liked like getting a magazine or a book or something, like reading it and drinking coffee.
Yeah, like hanging out.
That was like back before I had a smartphone. You know, it's like once I got a smartphone, I was like, hey, well, magazines don't need to exist anymore.
Yeah,
like,
I can't imagine like hanging out at a bookstore all day now. Like, unless I was there to just like do homework, and I haven't done homework in like a decade. So.
Oh yeah.
What's the point of going to a bookstore unless I need to buy a book?
Yeah.
Ow. That was a cool...
Neat to see that.
Yeah, that was a cool neck thing.
Yikes.
Neat.
Yeah.
Just broke my neck, Spenser. Goodbye. I'm dead now.
Bye. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
What's been on your... What you been listening to this week?
Oh, dude, I'm obsessed with this album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. I'm like burping so much. I just drank this beer. I've been obsessed with this album by this band called Foxjaw. Phoxjaw. Foxjaw. They have an album that came out this year. I don't know when it came out. I don't know what point in the year it came out, but it came out this year. It's called Royal Swan. And it is, I think, pretty easily my album of the year for this year. And I've been listening to it so much. It's so good. I really, really, really like it. It's like a mix of a lot of different genres that should clash, but it's pulled off so well that it just remains like super interesting and fresh and fun. And I really, really enjoyed it.
And just so it makes sense to folks listening to this down the line or when we actually publish it, the year he's talking about is 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Because
today is actually the last day of 2020.
We are recording this on, the 31st, which will give you an idea of our turnaround time, I guess.
Oh, dude, I'm sure so many people care and are looking forward to hearing about that.
Listen, the guy in France.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, but Ted Cruz, what about him?
Raphael?
God, he would be the worst fucking Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, it's so shitty. Like, just absolute failure in every regard.
Yeah. And imagine Michelangelo is replaced by Mike Huckabee Angelo.
Dude, you've watched the video of Mike Huckabee and Brian Head Welch playing Freak on a Leash, right?
Like, only once every month.
I watch it every time I masturbate, because it's the best thing I've ever seen.
So you're watching it now?
Shh. Nobody's supposed to know that.
I'm almost finished. Shh. Yeah, it's either when it comes to the Spank Bank, my first go-tos are that one, and then Mike Pence talking about Garfield's birthday on the Senate floor.
You can't forget that. That's essential. That's always on the playlist. I refuse to forget it.
Right. Oh, right. No, that one.
That and some late 1990s McDonald's commercials. You gotta
right. Well, that's I can't come too fast.
No.
Let's see. It's like, oh, hello? You don't say. Hangs up phone. Who was it, Ronald? They didn't say. And I'm like,
yeah. That causes me to just seize up too.
Oh, and
Just
every time
paint
I
the
see
walls
the
white.
Hamburglar, oh god,
Yeah.
I more like sperm burglar, am I right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he steals all my cum, baby.
Hell yeah.
Empty that booty, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know. What are we even talking? What are we doing? What is this?
What?
What's happening?
What's anything, man?
Yeah,
What's anything?
You
know, for a second, like, as I was saying man, I was, like, checking myself. I'm like, is that their pronouns? Like, wait a second, this is Spenser.
Yeah, I know, right?
He just has
I
girl's
find myself
hair.
in
That's the only...
situations like that a lot. I'm like, oh, no. I don't want to be a thing, you know?
I don't want to be a dingus.
Wow, we should try to write an original song.
God, it's been a while since I did
know.
that with anybody.
But we could write an original piece of music. We could put it in this podcast.
We could. Do you want to write a second Pluribus swap song?
Oh wow, sure. Yeah.
For anybody
good.
listening, we actually never really talk about it. We talked about it briefly with Matt.
Sure.
But all of the music on this podcast was either written or performed, or written and performed by one of us or the both of us.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah. I just have a whole backup log of just a bunch of like me and Spenser's old recordings and a bunch of his old beats and stuff like that, and I just throw them on there. You know, I figure we're never going to be in any like violation of anything. And I've started using brief sound clips. Like last time, I definitely went ahead and used a clip of Saliva's "Here Comes the Boom." Oh wait, click click boom. Sorry.
I love that you keep calling it "Here Comes the
Whatever. POD Saliva. Who cares?
Payable on Saliva. Yeah.
Payable.
That's the name of this episode, by the way.
Is it? All right. Payable on Saliva. Click, click, boom. How does the other one go?
Click, click, bazinga.
Click, click, bazinga. Coming down from the stereo. Click, click, bazinga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so since it's the end of the year, I was thinking that we could talk about some of our most favorite and least favorite moments of 2020. I, for one, don't have any favorite moments.
Listen. Okay, I will say one thing that has been just lovely. I have never seen so many cop cars on fire in my life as this year.
Oh, yeah.
And so 2020 gave us that.
That is true. That is nice. That was nice to see. I liked it when like all of my feeds were just like filled with cop cars on fire.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, and really, ultimately this year, I hope will be like a watershed year for, I mean, especially American society, where we really realize that the system is against us, the people. Like, it's not made for our benefit. Not our benefit. It's made for somebody's benefit. But those people will never listen to this podcast because they have shit to do.
That's true. Hey, I think you're overstating here. No one listens to this podcast.
Listen, guy in France, I recognize you, even if Spenser thinks you don't exist.
You know, speaking of weird, we listened to 3 Buckethead albums.
Yeah, speaking of weird, it's really not weird that you fucking forgot.
Again! Oh! Ah!
God damn it, Spenser.
Okay. All right, you're right. Brit.
What is
Listen
it?
to me.
Listen
to me, okay?
What? I don't even care. I'm just
Brit,
get high.
can you please hit me with a bucket fact? Bucket fact, bucket fact, bucket fact, bucket fact.
Bucket fact, 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 bucket fact.
So I kind of took a deep dive into this one.
Okay.
Someone on the internet was wondering like the date of a Buckethead thing, and I was wondering, like, if you could actually go ahead and date a lot of, like, Buckethead video and picture material based on what he's wearing on his head.
Sure, the history of the bucket, if you will.
The history of the bucket. The bucket's head of history of headwear, if you will.
Bucket history. Bucket.
And so I came up with what I think is actually a pretty definitive list from like the late 80s of what he has worn in certain eras. Okay. And I think you can actually chop it up into 5 very distinct eras. And the first one is going to be pre-1992.
Okay.
What I call Pre-Praxis or the Deli Creep days. So pretty much the only surviving material of him before Praxis is a couple videos he did of like just himself shredding, which we'll talk more about with Maximum Bob about. But also, like there are some live things of him, but they're all with the Deli Creeps. And pretty much in all of these, he's wearing a mask of some sort. Sometimes it's more of like an ape mask or another type of Halloween mask. Sometimes he is wearing his, like Mike Myers type one that he wears on stage. And then like a different thing on his head. Like I found one where I think he's wearing a plastic bag. Sometimes he's wearing the bucket, but it's not like all the time.
Okay. So he's like intermittently bucket.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely a Buckethead. Always something going on.
Okay, no, I like that for the name of the episode. Intermittently bucket, but always head.
Okay, I can get down with that. Intermittently bucket, always head. So, and then in era, I say Praxis through early Guns N' Roses. So that's going to be from 1992 up until 2002, a good decade. Okay. Buckethead is pretty much consistently wearing the KFC 14-piece value bucket. Mm-hmm. And he wears a couple different iterations of it, but it's mostly just the one that they had pretty much like all throughout the 90s. Mm-hmm. And then by August 2002, on the second, I guess, essentially the second leg, but also kind of the second GNR Chinese Democracy Tour, he finally puts the sticker on the 14-piece bucket that reads funeral, that he's like pretty well known for. Mm-hmm. So he wears that consistently on like every single show I could find from August 2002 up into about 2008, where he takes a brief hiatus from doing like anything public, and then when he comes back, he has the all white bucket. Which is going to be the fourth era. White.
He's just like Gandalf,
he comes back. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he got really into fucking. No, because if he got really into Lord of the Rings, he would have written a lot of Pikes about it. Let's be honest.
Who's to say these Pikes aren't about Lord of the Rings? We don't know.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
But then after that, after 2011, Buckethead has worn just various different buckets. Mostly, he's worn a couple different eras of the 14-piece bucket. Then he's worn the funeral one a few times and the white one a few times. But now he just kind of mixes it up here and there.
Interesting. I like that.
And those
I think
are
my favorite Buckethead look is the all-white bucket. I think it's the classiest.
I figured you'd like that the most. I think the most iconic, though, is definitely the funeral.
Yeah.
Mm. Which is why it's the one I use for, like, our logo and whatnot. Is like, that's the one, when the world was exposed to Buckethead, when he was playing for Guns N' Roses, it was actually pre-funeral sticker. Oh. Because I'd say, like, the first time the world was really exposed to them was when he played on the 2001 VMA Awards. Mm-hmm. Guns N' Roses closed out the show, and Buckethead was there, but this was pre-funeral sticker. But then on the second half of that tour, and by the way, we have to go into the Chinese Democracy Tour sometime, because it's like the most hilarious tour of all time. There was like 8 planned legs of the tour, and only like 2 happened, and only like 5% of the shows that they ever booked in that tour happened. It's really a fucking mess.
Oh wow. Yeah, we I think we're gonna get into that when we take a closer critical look at Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy. Anyway.
We listened to 3 more Pikes this week.
3 more.
Pike 34, Pike 35, and Pike 36.
Yes, indeed.
Respectively, Pike, that's the name of the album.
Mm-hmm. Or it's Pikes.
Thank you.
It's Pikes.
Oh, is it Pikes?
Pikes, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right, because it's Pumpkin Pikes.
Yeah.
Thank You Ohlingers
Mm-hmm.
is 35, and then 36 is The Pit.
Mm-hmm.
These were 3 very different albums.
Indeed. Very different.
Yeah. Yeah. They were 3 different albums. I didn't think any of them was bad.
Yes.
I didn't think any of them was great. But I kind of liked all of them.
Yeah. It was an interesting mix.
Yeah.
I would say that the first album that was to Pumpkin. Wait, no, this isn't Pumpkin. Sorry, this is Pikes.
No.
The titular
Right.
album of this entire project.
So
I guess I have to assume. Which
it is and it isn't.
Let's just say this album, Pike 34, literally sounds like something Spirit Halloween would give away for free to every customer.
Kind of. I think it's better than that. Like,
I'm not saying that
that's
bad. I'm just saying like that's
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
Yeah. So it was made to be a direct companion album with Pike 33, which is called Pumpkin. And we listened to it last time on our last episode.
Bucket horror. Horror head.
Yeah, and that's more like kind of, I don't know, this is more horror soundtracky in a way that it'd like be a good soundtrack to a horror movie, whereas the other one like was a little bit more like Foley art and stuff, and so I feel like Pumpkin would be more like how do I put this? Better is like kind of like background music and sounds and stuff like that, where this would be better as like a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But yeah, this one, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Interesting.
There was, a lot of like very ambient, minimalist kind of synth stuff. Pretty much all of it was like synth and samples. There was some guitar here and there, but not much.
Yeah, there's some synths, but it's a lot of like just noise and atmosphere, if you will. You know?
Yeah.
Sounds like 1,000 Halloween sounds, or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't know. I actually thought it sounded quite a bit like a lot of stuff that like Alan Howarth did. He's a guy who worked a whole bunch with John Carpenter for like Halloween 2 through 5, and so he's the one who brought that like big synthy sound to Halloween.
Okay.
Because the first one wasn't like super synthy; it was a lot more like piano and like string jabs and stuff like that. But the other ones were like way synthier. Oh, and then he also did like Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China. So he did all the stuff that with John Carpenter that made it sound like super 80s. And this sounded very like an 80s horror soundtrack, which was dope.
Sure. But one of the ones that's like less based around like big synthy melodies and more based around like just atmosphere, you know? Right.
And I'm not sure if you listened to his other project at all, Death Cube K.
No, I haven't.
Okay, which is an anagram for Buckethead.
Yeah.
But it's a project that he did that's mostly stuff like this, but then with guitar in it.
Okay.
And I actually think you'd enjoy it. You should check it out. He's got 3 or 4 albums with some of them one of them's like just exactly like this. So because of this and because someone online said this and Pumpkin reminded them of Death Cube K, I listened to like 2.5 Death Cube K albums. Nice. Just to compare. And it is pretty similar. There's a lot more like guitar on Death Cube K though, for the most part. It's pretty good though. And it's these are very much that, but just kind of not as good.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Could be worse.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Not a bad album though.
Yeah.
Not a great album.
It's an experiment. It's a bucket experiment, if you will.
It is a bucket experiment. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one, but hey, if you're doing a listen of the Pikes, it's not necessarily one that you would need to skip, but it is one that could be skippable.
True.
That said, it is an interesting bucket experiment. It was interesting to hear him do something that is very much a very soundtrack or like atmosphere driven thing. I feel like Pumpkin is more of a noise album, whereas this one is more of like general horror / Halloween atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely. Like the other one had definitely like more Foley, and it sounded more like stuff was actually going on, whereas this is more just like to add to stuff going on.
Sure. Yeah.
This one was definitely a lot softer, a lot, more ambient. I dug it though. It was wasn't bad. Yeah, but I definitely don't know how many people I'd recommend it to, and like, I'd recommend most of these albums to someone. Not all of them, but like most of them definitely have an audience where I could be like, oh, I know who would like this album. This one though, maybe some deep horror fans who are really into like horror soundtrack stuff. I'd be like, hey, you should check out, Buckethead.
Maybe people doing like a D&D campaign that need background music, even though they could just listen to Dungeon Synth.
Or a D&D campaign, or like a DMT suppository. Holy
shit. That sounds wild.
Next day you would have a holy shit. Yeah,
you would. Anyways, Pike 35. Welcome to Ohlingers, right?
Yeah, and so...
Is it welcome to Ohlingers, or
thank you, Ohlingers.
Thank you, Ohlingers. This is a power metal album with no guitar solos, or like it has one or two guitar solos.
Yeah, there's a guitar solo in track 2, and then I think later in the album. But back up a little here. Okay. Let's go back to the title here. It's called "Thank You, Ohlingers." Okay. Ohlinger references a fellow named Jerry Ohlinger, who had a store in Manhattan called Ohlinger's that sold like it was famous for like having like the most movie posters in the world, and they just had a whole bunch of like old like movie memorabilia and shit like that.
Okay.
And it was like Buckethead's favorite place to go, and he was in Manhattan. They announced that they were closing the store down in October of 2013, and Buckethead released this Pike I think 1 week after they announced they were closing.
How interesting. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I liked this one. I thought it was fun. There's some good energy to it. It's Buckethead writing melodic riffs, which is always nice. Like he's always good at that. And like this is a rare circumstance in which I would say that this album I think would have been a lot better and more interesting if it had more guitar solos.
Definitely, because it definitely felt in a lot of places, as you said, like a power metal album. And I even put, like, there was a song, track 3, way in the back, that it starts with, like, a cool riff, and then it gets into, like, a ton of breaks, where it's, like, the guitar going, dun-dun-dun, and, like, the toms are going, dun-dun-dun, like, opposite the guitar. And the entire time I listened to that, and pretty much the rest of the song, it sounded like a Blood Fist song. And that was a power metal band that we were in when we were, like, 16, listener.
How cool is that? We're pretty cool that we were in a power metal band together when we were 16 in Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah, right?
Fucking amazing. Like
Bucket amazing, dog.
Bucket amazing.
Bucket amazing. Bucket amazing. Bucket amazing.
Yeah, it's Pretty good. Yeah. No. Like a lot of the songs were like really melodic and like I mean, both you and I really like it when Buckethead does melodic stuff, and so and he can do such great melodic leads. Like there were a lot of riffs I heard on this album that were like, oh, that's a cool little melodic riff. Like wow, that'd be really cool with a lead over it, and then the lead never comes.
I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of like lead, like him doing really cool guitar tricks, but not as a solo.
Yeah, just like in a riff.
Yeah, like
which
he
is
did a whole bunch
cool.
of like string skipping. And then there's the part on fucking track 8, Telling Number, kind of like halfway or near the end, where he did like this tapping melody. And it was just beautiful, but also like super fast. He did a thing I think he calls like nubbing, which is like where he uses pretty much all of his fingers to tap. Yeah, and it sounds it was pretty cool. Like I'm gonna go ahead and say I probably liked this album the most out of the 3 this week.
Interesting. Yeah.
Sure. It was fun.
It reminded me of like a soundtrack to a roller coaster with like a really like kind of new metal aesthetic, like a roller coaster that has like, I don't know, tribal stuff on it. And it's like trying to be all edgy and like, I don't know.
That's like a roller coaster called like the Valkyrie's Back, where it like flies you up to like Valhalla and you go through a big hall of metal, but then at the very end, that's when the drop happens and you go into like there's this huge drop and you go down to like Posers and there's just like dudes wearing Cracker Jack clothes and being untrue. And like being gay, but in a way that's not like dudes in leather gay.
Because that's the most metal.
It is. It's weird. Like gay is both the least metal and the most metal, depending on how you're doing it.
It's really it's weird. It's one of those things. It's like one of those like magic eye puzzles. It's like depending on how you look at it, it's going to be something different.
Right.
And
and that's the thing, because metal is like all about masculinity, and honestly, like when it comes to like gays are like the most effeminate and the most masculine dudes. The biggest, most masculine dudes I know are bears in my life. Like they're all big gay bears, and you just they just like butts.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong at all. I like butts. I like butts. That's my take on the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, I Like Dirt.
We don't need to talk about Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes, we do. We always need to talk about Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Shut up.
And we need to talk about when Anthony Kiedis raped like a 14-year-old girl.
Oh, holy shit. I didn't know anything about that. That sounds terrible.
Wrote Catholic high school girls rule about her.
Okay. Well, that's gross. Pike 36. What the fuck is Pike? Oh, the whole. What's it called?
That's the gay version of the album.
The Pit. There we go. That's what it's called. Right?
Yeah, it's called The Pit. Yeah.
Okay, good. The Pit. This is an interesting album. I like that. Okay, so it's got two kind of parts to it.
Right.
There's like this forlorn, melodic, very like atmospheric, pretty guitar side of it, and then there's like kind of similar stuff to Thank You Ohlinger.
So yeah, here's the thing. It's 7 tracks long, and track 1 through 6 are The Pit Part 1, The Pit Part 2, so on and so forth. And then track 7 is called The Pendulum. So I'm guessing this album is kind of based on Edgar Allan Poe's The Pit and the Pendulum.
Ah, there you go. That makes sense.
But inasmuch like the Pit does follow like an interesting thing where it's like sandwiched between this like spacey riff with a soft pad in the background and some like slow drums and like a bluesy solo. That's like the very first track, and then the second half of the 6th track, which is the last part of the Pit part of the album. And everything in between is kind of the same. honestly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
tracks 2 through 5 are like it's not bad. It's just like a lot of really chuggy, thrashy, heavy stuff with a lot of staccato, like digga digga dun, digga digga dun, dun, like a whole bunch of double bass playing the exact same, like riff matching the bass and guitar.
Sure.
And it's all right. It sounds
All
like
right.
to me a lot of it sounds like a lot of the like some of the better deathcore coming out of like the late 2000s.
Sure.
Yeah. It was all right.
Speaking of which, people still message me about Animosity, like sometimes. I'm like, wow, Animosity.
I saw Animosity.
People still care so much about Animosity. And
Didn't
it's
they
like,
break
I
up
remember
in like
like back in the
2010?
day, in like 2007, like people being like, oh, Animosity, oh my God. But they're still like that about that band. And it's like, I get it because like the people that are in that band went on to do some pretty interesting stuff, to be honest. But like that band, I still don't feel like is interesting. So I don't know. I don't get it. But
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all right. Like, I don't know. I feel that way sometimes about like, and we're gonna get like people will listen to the show just to send me hate mail about this, but I kind of feel that way about At the Drive-In.
Okay.
Like they have some good songs, but I don't really get why they were so influential, to be honest.
Okay. I've never listened to that band, so I don't know anything about them.
They've got a few good tracks. Like they have a good album is the thing.
I know people really like that band.
I know.
Like,
people stand
a lot.
hard on At the Drive-In. And I like At the Drive-In. I just think they're like super overrated and I don't really understand why.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people...
Ooh, you know
like
what I gotta
stuff.
make? I gotta make a meme where it's like at the drive-in, but they all have mustaches and are wearing like bowler hats, and it's Scat Man, the drive-in.
Wow. That's pretty good. Bee-bop-bop-bada-boop. Bop-bop-bada-boop. Yeah, bop-bada-boop. I love that song. I love the music video even more. So
I can never remember which one is that one and which one's the Scatman's World. I think they're the same video generally. He's just like against a white background, and then he's got like multi-ethnic people dancing. And it's just the camera going like, yeah, well, he's talking, so it's like everybody talk up to me, other. Yeah. That 90s thing where the camera's just like boom, like someone watched the Vogue video for Madonna's Vogue, and they're like, that's how all videos are gonna be until 98. And like that was just how it was. Nice. Yeah, that's like up until Spike Jonze, that's all they could do with the camera on music videos.
Yeah, cameras moving around a lot. Like that. Did you ever watch that thing where it was like an infomercial for the Sega CD? It's like 30 minutes long, and it's like a scripted teen drama, but it's about the Sega CD.
No, but it does sound like something I'd jerk off to.
Oh, dude, it's fucking amazing. Like, I will send that to you. You gotta watch it. It's great.
Yeah, sounds like Bait Fest.
I really liked the acoustic, atmospheric, melodic parts of this album. I like them very, very much.
Yeah, and so really I was gonna say
that part of it. So like the last,
especially the final track. Yeah, the Pendulum itself, I thought was the best track on here by far, and probably the best track on this album. I also really liked Alphabetical Order from the last one. Thank You Ohlingers. That's the one that started out with a super weird guitar tapping. That was
that one's super cool. Yeah,
kind of sounded like that. That other one we listened to, Wall of Spiders, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I liked the beginning and the end of the album. The middle was fine. It was kind of
it was fine.
It was an all right sandwich. Yeah. Really good bread. Yeah.
It's like, it was like an all right sandwich with an amazing bread.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, totally. That one's pretty good. It reminded me of, like, honestly, like, so because it was called The Pit, like, and the first song is like very like melancholic. It made me think of like, yeah, this is like depression. This is like depression. And then it got into like kind of like metal-y stuff, and it like made me less feel like it was about depression. But then the last 1.5 songs made me think it was about depression again.
Interesting. So I actually thought this would be cool for like a Pirates of the Caribbean type ride based entirely on like the writings of Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Like, okay, explain to me what this ride is like.
So have you been on Pirates of the Caribbean? You know how that ride works? Okay, so the way it is it's like you get on like this river raft, and then there's a whole bunch of like animatronic scenes happening that you float past. And that's what the ride is. And so it's like a float ride, so it's not a fast ride or anything, and it's like an entertainment ride more than like a thrill ride.
Okay.
So you're just like watching scenes happen, and that's kind of how it would be. So like,
yeah.
Same with like the Haunted Mansion. It'd be like a Haunted Mansion type ride where like each room that you go into is a different scene from like a different Edgar Allan Poe book that's like super scary. Like one room is a telltale heart, and you like see a guy burying a man, and then like in like the next scene in the room you see him like going crazy because the heart won't stop beating.
Yeah, under the floorboards. Yeah.
And then, you know, the pit and the pendulum, you know, the guy trapped under a pendulum. Yeah, exactly. And you could use a whole bunch of different scenes from that. And I think this would be an awesome soundtrack for that. And, you know, because you got a lot of different stuff. You could do like the more exciting, brutal stuff with the metal, and then, you know, the other stuff could just be kind of weird and spacey in the background.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I love it. Sounds amazing. Let's do it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, it's Buckethead. Oh, fuck, I came again. Oh, no, that was an early 2000s commercial. Never mind.
Nice. Yeah, I was wondering what was going to happen there.
Oh.
Yeah, so, Britt.
Spenser.
You got to recommend me something.
Oh, I got a couple recommendations this week. I'm getting into a couple things. First off, I'm going to go ahead and recommend what everyone has already watched. I don't think you have yet, but I got into it because I got recommended by a few people. The Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that's super good.
It's a real fucking delight. Real goddamn good. Can't recommend it enough. Just like powerhouse acting. It's so odd. I don't know why it was so compelling other than just like really good acting. And I mean, the writing was solid too, but like, I can't tell you what made it like so compelling and good, because I do kind of care about chess, but not really. Not enough to watch a show about chess. I mean, I like the musical. Bangkok, Oriental City, but the city don't know, but the, you know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, of course.
One night in Bangkok makes the hard man humble.
Such a good song.
It's so good. That's actually behind Buckethead. Murray Head is my favorite head musician, I'd say.
Oh, nice. What about Brian Head Welch?
Fuck! I gotta rethink things and masturbate. Yeah, so just turn your screen off.
No.
I'm not going to turn mine off while I'm masturbating, but you should turn yours off so I don't have to watch you.
Nice.
So I can watch the Huckabee head.
It's like, you can watch me, I just don't want to see you, okay?
Yeah. That's right.
Pretty good.
Yeah, your screen's still on, dude.
Yeah, I know. Awesome. Okay, yeah, I was thinking about checking that out. That is enough to push me over the edge.
It's really quite good. The acting is fantastic. I'd never seen this actress before. What's her name? And it's also like a mini series too, so they're not gonna.
Yeah. It's a limited series.
Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy is her name, and she was so goddamn good. Oh, she was in The Witch! That's where I recognize her from. Fuck! She was 19 in The Witch. Okay, yeah, she's only 24.
Man, you know what the most annoying shit in the whole wide world is?
What's that?
Okay, so my leather jacket. I say leather jacket. It's not a real leather, but it like looks like a leather jacket, right?
Pleather.
I wear it a lot, and I have a pin on there that's like a black goat, and it's just like a black goat. I don't know. There's nothing.
Not a Black Frank.
What?
Black Frank.
I don't know what that means.
Black Francis.
What?
Never mind.
Okay. Anyways, so I have this like black goat pin on my jacket, and I have been asked a many times, like, "Oh, is that because of the witch?"
That's what I meant. Sorry, Black Phillip.
And I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
No.
His
like,
name
I
is
don't
Black
care
Phillip
about
and-
movies. Why would I wear movie memorabilia? Don't think I'm one of those people." And it makes me like upset every time it happens because I'm like, "No, fuck off."
The Witch is really good though.
It's just
like,
it's annoying. Like, I would never buy movie memorabilia, like movie merch. I don't know.
Really? Nothing? I'd definitely buy like a Neil Breen pin or something. That'd fucking rule.
Nice. That is pretty cool.
Mhm.
I will say. Maybe a Tammy and the T-Rex shirt. I might buy that. That could.
No,
be
there's
pretty
tons of movie memorabilia I'd buy. Like, movies are cool.
Movies are cool, but like there are very few movies I like enough that I would want to have like merchandise for. Not to say that they don't exist. They definitely do. There are movies I like enough, but there are very few of them
Was
I
that
like
you?
enough to wear merch from them.
Was that you? Did something just fall down in your place?
No?
What was that noise?
Are you getting robbed?
Hopefully they come and kill me too. Cool.
Nice.
No, well, I'm not gonna worry too much about it.
Cool.
Sound like a balloon popping. That was weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
So here's a recommendation for you, Britt.
I'm sorry. I have one more recommendation.
Oh my
besides-
God. Okay.
No, this is one that like I think you might even be excited about.
Maybe you might care.
You could. Who knows? So you know Charlie Kaufman, the fellow who wrote the scripts.
He made that new movie.
Yeah. I'm not talking about his new movie though. Although his new movie is supposed to be great, I'm thinking about ending things.
Yeah, I've heard it's like impenetrable.
Yeah, a lot of people say, it's supposed to be good and weird and hard to get through, like anything he does. But he also, speaking of great and weird and hard to get through, he wrote a novel and it's called Antkind, and it's super good so far.
Oh, wow. How long is it?
I don't know, like 500 pages.
That's not that long.
Yeah, it's
how far are you into it?
Like 100 pages. So
Nice.
I've got a while to go, but it's funny, weird, super like pretty much the entire thing is just weird introspection. That's like all it is. But it's like based on a character who's driving somewhere and he's just like thinking about things while he does things, and it's super super good so far. It's if you like Charlie Kaufman, I'd say read the fucking book because it's funny. It's funny. It's smart. Got a great speech about having a big beard. It's good.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you got to recommend me, bitch?
That's a really good question.
Bitch.
Bitch. Fucking bitch, get on down, fucking suck on the dick.
I think we might have to make a fucking bitch, get on down, recommend me a thing song.
Oh, that's amazing. I will make a riff for that.
Dude, if you do, I'll fucking hook that up, dog.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So a couple of things. I have been working on kind of like making my living space make sense. And one thing that I've been doing to do that is by adding trash cans to various parts of my home. Where
every home needs at least three trash
and I actually
cans.
found this to like keep my house significantly tidier just by having places to put filth.
Yeah.
So I do recommend that. It's good. It's better.
Mm-hmm.
But I also recommend, giving less of a shit in general.
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah.
Only because I found things hard
That's fair.
to deal with when I take them too seriously.
Yeah.
It becomes overwhelming for me.
Yeah. At the same time, we do live in a fucked up world that should be taken seriously if we want to try to change anything about it.
That is true. It's a balance, right? You gotta figure out a way of doing that.
It's
caring, but also not caring in a way that makes your mental health not horrible.
It's a balance by Van Halen. I think they're 95 album.
You were talking about Van Hagar recently, right? I didn't imagine that.
Yeah. Oh, it was 95. I just guessed. Fucking A. I rule. Cool. I don't rule. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Van Hagar.
Yeah. What was I talking about Hagar?
I don't know. I think you said you've been listening to a lot of Sammy Hagar or something.
I didn't. I don't.
Did I imagine that, or did that happen? I honestly don't know.
You probably imagined that.
I feel like you were talking to me about Sammy Hagar recently. I think it was when we were on PS4.
Oh no! I thought maybe it might have been when I came over and I was singing one shot, bust tequila, 2 shot.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah, when I was giving you your birthday present, I think I was singing Hagar.
You got you know what's cool though is Sammy Hagar the Horrible.
That is cool.
No, it's not. Shut up.
No, it
I
is.
also recommend painting your nails. I've been doing that lately. It's fun.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't even know who the fuck that is. There's no celebrities named Bailey. Do you know that?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There's no. Well, what about Bailey's Irish Cream?
Yeah, that's not, because I can't make a fucking joke where I say, Beetle Bailey's Irish Cream. That's not funny. That doesn't make sense like Sammy Hagar the Horrible. All right? I can make this joke, but no one will get it. Beetle Bailey Madison. Who the fuck is Bailey Madison? She's the most famous person named Bailey. She was on Brothers.
Brothers? What is that?
I don't know. Fucking movie with Tobey Maguire from 2009. She was in Bridge to Terabithia.
I fucking hated Bridge to Terabithia. I had to read that fucking book when I was in school, and I was like, wow, this book fucking sucks. And then, I hated it, and I, got so mad about it. This was in, 3rd grade or something. I got so mad about it, I went to my teacher, and I was like, I hate this book. I already finished it, even though it was, assigned to us, a day ago, and I hate it, and I don't want to think about it anymore. And I don't know, I got in trouble or something. It was dumb. But, that book sucked. I hated that book. Hated that book. Fuck that book.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it's not as dumb as Island of the Blue Dolphins, which is another book I hate. But, you know what? I hate Bridge to Terabithia more than Island of the Blue Dolphins, actually. Significantly more, I think.
So, since we're mentioning books about dolphins, I gotta make a big recommend here for a book called The Jolly Mon.
Okay.
By a little guy, you may know as Jimmy Buffett. He wrote a kid's book that my parents bought and repeatedly read to me and my brother, and the book came with the soundtrack.
Oh no.
So
when did this come out?
I don't know, probably early 90s, I'm gonna say.
Oh god, you were raised by Buffett, huh? No wonder your life has been one downhill trip to Margaritaville.
Brother. No, I'm living in paradise as a cheeseburger dog. So the book was originally released on my birth year, 1988.
My birth year as well.
All right, are you ready for this from the cover flap? A superb songwriter and storyteller, Jimmy Buffett has combined his knowledge of oceanic folklore with his own experiences while sailing with his daughter, Savannah Jane, from island to island throughout the Caribbean. The result is The Jolly Man, an original tale where music and enchantment, pirates and trickery, friendship, and the loyalty of a very special dolphin create a timely story of adventure. Nice. Dramatic paintings by Lambert Davis reflect the artist's continuing love of the sun, the surf, and the sea. Many of the visual elements in these illustrations were suggested to the artist by Jimmy Buffett, who related many details of his own experiences while living among the people of the Caribbean. Here's a book to be shared and treasured by young and old.
Hey, that sounds great, but I'm sorry, you were pronouncing his name incorrectly. It's pronounced Jimmy Buffet. Like, I don't know if you know that, but you should.
Cool.
Well, anyways.
Jimmy Buffett has a daughter who's only like, I don't know, 9 years older than me.
Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett got a daughter.
Oh. You should fuck Jimmy Buffett's daughter, dude.
No, I gotta put a ring around that and fucking become the heir to Margaritaville. Margaritaville, that's like a fiefdom, right? Like,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, or the Duke of Margarita. I don't even know. What do they got?
Yeah, they're dookie.
They are dookie. I'd actually say everything that Jimmy Buffett does is fucking dookie. And I'm not talking about the Green Day album, guys.
Do you have the time
to listen to Jimmy Buffett? The answer is no.
Yeah. Well, anyways. To the Duke of Margaritaville.
To the Duke of
Namaste.
Margaritaville.
I'm pretending to raise a glass, but I have nothing to drink anymore. So.
You know what I say to the Duke of Margaritaville? Mas tequila! That's a Sammy Hagar song.
I think that wraps everything up, honestly. It puts the bow on it better than I could have.
No, we're gonna convert this like a transformer into a podcast specifically about like musicians who like have decided to retire in the tropics. So Sammy Hagar.
Yep.
Jimmy Buffett.
Buffet. Mm-hmm. Who else? Like, I don't even know.
That's all I'm
sure Orbison, doesn't he live down there?
Roy Orbison hasn't lived since the early 90s, so...
I didn't know that.
So I'm going to say no.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's weird that you mentioned Roy Orbison, because I was actually just looking... I mean, I just looked up the whole history of the Traveling Wilburys the other day, so that's the only reason I know that he died in, like, 91, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know he died. I thought he was, like, around for a while.
R.I.P. Orbs.
Yeah, I think for some reason I get him and Elvis Costello mixed up a lot.
Okay, that's understandable.
I guess they kind of have the same thing going-ish.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone else. Like,
Probably
I was
Elvis
saying Roy
Costello.
Orbison, but I was actually thinking of Rod Stewart. That's who I was.
That's a very, very different person, Spencer.
Dude, those are the two people that I get confused probably the most.
No, I think he still lives in England or something, doesn't he?
I don't know. Does anyone named Rod sounds like they're gonna be like a porn guy? You know?
What's where can I find you on the internet, Spencer?
You don't need to.
Yeah, but if I want to stalk you and send you pictures of my crooked penis, where
please no crooked penis pics,
say I have a crooked penis and a lot of pictures of it. Where can I send them to you on the internet, Spencer?
No.
Say I have a very straight penis that's not in any way crooked, but still somehow looks unsettlingly deformed. Where can I send those pictures to, Spencer?
Penis pics. I'm definitely not telling you where to follow me
What-
now.
What's your MySpace, Spencer?
MySpace.com/theoriginalhippiekiller.
You were. That's great. That's great.
I don't think that that's what it is anymore, which is why I said that, but that's what it was a long time ago.
Right. You can find Spencer at New Metal KS, New Metal Karate Society, New Metal Cult, a whole bunch of New Metal. Just look up New Metal K. He's not New Metal Karaoke.
That's not me, but
Not
I'm
him.
the other ones.
All the other ones.
Not all the other ones, but some of the other ones.
I'm at the Queer Goth most places, and I also run our at Bucketcast account for Instagram.
Yes, thank you.
Reach out to us. Give us a handy. You know, give us so many handies. It's like a standing ovation.
Oh, I love that.
Give us a handing ovation, really. Are you sending me stuff? Sending someone else stuff. Someone else.
Sorry, give me 1 sec.
Yeah, I can hear you sending things. Cool.
Can you hear the like whoop sound?
Yep. Whoop.
Really?
Sent a text. Whoop. Sent a text. Am I right? No.
Sorry, I didn't realize you could hear that.
It's okay. Well, since you got to play that, I'm going to play the Jollymond for both of us.
Oh God, I gotta go. Do the outro.
You know what Jimmy Buffett is? He's Raffy for drunk old idiots. He's
Yeah, he
Raffy
is.
for drunk people with sailboats. He's literally singing children's songs. That's all he does.
Yeah. Dude, that's so accurate. I love
He,
that.
he sings children's songs about being an alcoholic.
It's so good.
This is what I was raised on, Spencer.
No wonder you're so fucked up. Like,
I know, dog. Like, I need to talk to my therapist about this shit. I should just walk into the therapist's office, sit down, and sing this word for word.
yeah, you should.
Now, if I recall, what happens in the book is Jollymon is like this cool dude who like everyone likes, and he just hangs out in the sun. But then he's on his boat one day, and a bunch of pirates are like, "Hey, give us all your stuff," and then they kill him, and then he turns into a magic dolphin.
Sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, dude.
That sounds great.
I mean, I jerk off to stuff like that, so.
I mean, don't we all?
Nah, that was a test. I don't jerk off to weird shit like that, dude. That's weird. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, don't tell people what they could jerk off to or not.
I'm not kink shaming. Just like don't jerk off to Jimmy Buffett with dolphins and stuff.
Yeah, it's probably better that way.
I know. It's not very true metal.
True Metal Karate Society.
That. I'm gonna do that and just repost every single meme you post, but with a Manowar logo on it.
That's pretty good. Anyways, this has been Britt.
And this has been Spencer. You've been listening to Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
Stay greasy, bucket boys, bucket friends. Stay greasy, bucket friends.
Namaste.